And we are live. Hi. Welcome to my next series of streams, brought to you by Konami. And yeah, if you're wondering why it gave me that warning, that means you probably don't know what Boktai, the sun is in your and he's. There's no like special intro or anything, so I am going to skip. If you stay on this screen for long enough, it shows you hints on how to play the game. So I'm going to skip them and go right into.
Boktai, the sun is in your hand.
So a bit of story about Boktai is first things first. I have already finished the game on the normal. There are multiple story difficulty options: easy, normal 1, normal 2, and hard. There's a few various differences on what each mean, but for the most part, it just changes the difficulty of the encounters as well as certain puzzles. It really says. I finished the game on normal 2, like I said, so I already know most of the game because that's going to be the third time I finish the game. So this is a totally and absolutely legit copy of the game. There is nothing weird going on with it, but I already finished the game once when I was a kid. I think the game came out in 2004 or so, and I did finish it in. I think it was. I think I didn't buy it exactly when it came out, but I think I bought it used maybe a year after it came out, maybe 2, and that was one of my most formative memories in terms of gaming because this game is weird. This game is very weird. As to what I mean by that, well, we'll explore it over time, but this is a Konami game made by Hideo Kojima on the GBA with the express goal of making kids go out and play. Yeah. So Django is a default name. I'm not going to change it. Asking me. Okay, it was not asking me any of that when I. It went directly to the difficulty setting last. So for some reason, when you press R, it goes to hardest to easy, and L is to hardest. I don't know. But yes. Easy as easy action, which means less enemies, they have less HP, and easy puzzle, which I don't know what it is. Huh? Okay, no, that's just weird. One moment. I think I made a small mistake. Ah, okay. so I misunderstood how you unlocked hard mode. The way I wanted to do this was, in order to unlock hard mode, you have to finish the game. That's what the information on the internet gave me. But I got somewhat faulty information in that is how you unlock hard mode. However, you have to start New Game Plus in order to be able to do anything with hard mode. Which means New Game Plus, well, you start with everything you had when you finish the game, which is not what I want to do in this case. It's just you start with all of your weapons, all of the food you have, all of your weapon levels and all that stuff. So instead, I'm just going to go for normal 2, which is the hardest we have here. With recommended actions and recommended puzzles. Some of the puzzles, I'm ashamed to say, mercy difficult because I'm manipulating.
In a place not too far from here and now,
Hey, the game has worked.
the end of the world approaches.
Don't get used to it.
The undead appear, breaking the natural cycle of life and death. The evolution of species ceases, and one by one, they become extinct.
This is a city of death. In Istrakan. I don't know why, but every time I see the name, I just go Istrakan. I think I just don't like Instagram. Since time immemorial, this dark city has been ruled by the race known as the Immortals. Now, at last, the sun is rising. Otenko, you've come at last. The heir to the solar gun, Gandalf Sol. New vampire hunter. My name is Otenko, messenger of the sun. Together we will bring light back to this world. In the castle ahead is a vampire lord. Let's go, solar boy. And now that we're in the game proper, I can show you things. Upper left is my health. You can boost your health by finding what are essentially just art containers. Lower right is your gun gauge and sun gauge. Sun gauge, I think Otenko is going to explain it, but the more sun, the brighter the sunlight, the better sun you have. Though still this is a totally complete legit totally not modified version of the game, I can't actually use that function. That's because back when this was a GBA game, the cartridge was quite chunky. And by quite chunky, I mean it mounted a miniature solar cell on it. The solar cell would read the ambient light level, and from there it would decide what amount of light was actually in the sensor, and that decided a number of things which I'm going to explain next. Mostly because the game is going to explain somewhat. Fog Castle. Time to sunset. So every time you enter a dungeon, this little introduction will play. It's going to... background is going to vary depending on which dungeon you're in, but something similar is going to play, and I kind of like the introduction. The time to sunset and everything doesn't really mean much. It's just mostly just for flavor. It will do. Watch. This is a pile driver. Hello. The Vampire Lord, leader of the race of immortal vampires. The wound your father gave him I have not healed. This is our only chance. Even you can do it if you act now. Listen, Solar Boy, bring him and his coffin back here. We will purify him with sunlight and this pile driver. You need sunlight to start the pile driver. Is a gauge with a sun mark in the lower right corner? It shows the level of sunlight striking the solar sensor. It's called the solar gauge. You can't use the pile driver when the sunlight level is 0. So, like you say, the solar gauge is defined by how much light actually hits the gauge. In order to actually play the game, because you might think, oh, well, without sunlight, how am I going to do that? Is I can manually set the amount of light. There is a mod for this game and all of the other Boktai games that allows you to do that. It's a mod I will be using, and putting things at 8 means you regenerate light incredibly quickly. Not like energy, even quickly. Because we do have the gun vessel, which, yeah, you can shoot, and the bar down there is the energy bar. Right now, nothing is happening because I don't have any sunlight. However, if there is some sunlight, I can recharge the gun. Right now it's quite slow, and there is some passive regeneration as well when you're in the sunlight, which I currently am. But to give you an idea, let me use it some more. So this is light level 1. As I'm maxed out light level, I can barely fire fast enough to use energy. There are some limitations baked into the game because you were supposed to be outside. One of my funky memories was having this game on Game Boy SP and just sitting outside playing it under the shade of a tree, but in a spot where the light would just hit the solar cell just enough to get to, I think, like level 6. Solar Boy. Let's go over the solar gun vessel one more time. Press the B button with the fighter frame equipped to fire a solar shot. Use the shot to temporarily stun the undead. Attacks from behind are the most effective. But if the energy in the solar battery to see the gun gauge in the lower right corner runs out, you won't be able to fire your solar gun. Recharge violating sunlight strike the sensor. May the sun be with you. As you can see, you have some enemies, and in order to kill them, you actually have to shoot them. Spiders are not the most common of enemies, but they are certainly one of the weakest. The birds in the other room were also enemies you can kill, but they are an absolute pain as to deal with this specific frame. So I just decided not to try it. And now we are inside. Most of the game is going to be taken care to be placed inside. And when you're inside, well, you can't recharge the gun, which is shown by the fact that the solar gauge is kind of grayed out. However, the panel on the whale is an Otenko panel. Press the A button when the mark is flashing to summon me. Don't be afraid to ask for advice. My knowledge might come in handy. Oh, I thought you would talk about Otenko. And I was going to say, when you're indoor, you are going to need windows. When you find a window, you can go under and actually recharge your gun. That's the only way to recharge your gun using sunlight. There is one other way to recharge your gun which does not require sunlight, and we'll go over it in a bit. So, normally, if we were playing out mode, there would be an enemy right here. But since there isn't, I'm not going to go over combat quite yet.
Otenko!
That's a solar station. It automatically stores solar energy collected via your source sensor. You can transfer energy to your gun whenever you need to, even at night. The number above the solar station shows how much energy is left. The A button when in front of the solar station to transfer energy. You press these now. So the way this works is when sunlight hits your solar sensor, it will passively generate energy. It passively generates energy. The number above it is a full charge of your gun. If I fire some, I can recharge a bit. It has a bit more importance, but for the most part that's all that thing does. And still no enemies. In our mode there would be 2 more enemies here. I've done the first dungeon on hard mode in order to see how hard it actually was, and I think I might actually regret not being in hard mode because well, there's kind of nothing around, which is a bit of a shame. Said another. By the way, if you use the solar gun inside the dungeon, crystal spikes may grow up from the floor. Perhaps you've already seen them? These are solar bamboo shoots. They are made of hardened solar energy. 3 kinds of spirit bugs live in solar bamboo shoots. Solar bugs recharge your solar gun battery. Moon bugs, which restore your life, and darkness bug, which will drain energy from your solar gun battery. Best to run away from darkness bugs, but you can attract the other spirit bugs by pressing the A button. Don't forget these shoots, my friend. So those are the solar shoots. They are completely invisible. You don't really know where they are unless you use one of the 2 items that allows you to see invisible things. Got night solar gun frame.
Otenko!
Like you've got the night solar gun frame. As you repeat, you can use the solar spray attack on the undead. Hold on the B button to fire the sprite. Use the weapon screen to switch solar gun parts. Press select to bring up the menu screen. Use the L button to select item screen, weapon screen or map screen. Try equipping night from the weapon screen. If you thought we were just going to have those speedy shots, you were wrong, very wrong. Welcome to the menu where all music comes out and it's kind of jarring. In order to heal yourself, you need to use nuts, solar nuts, which funnily enough is the name of one of the fruits. So, this game is not well translated. I'm just going to be completely honest. It's from an era where game translation was... It's not as bad as it could be, but there is a lot of weird... not mistranslation, but used terms that really do not fit. For example, everything's a goddamn nut. Everything. Except some of the fruits, but I'm pretty sure they call a pumpkin or a gourd. Like, not pumpkin, but a butternut gourd or something like that. A nut, and it's just very weird. The green apples and red apples are your main healing items. As they say, health boost small, and health boost medium. What I mean by that is healing. Solar nuts is the other thing that can let you recharge your solar gun battery. You munch on one and it gives you, I think, about a fifth of your solar gauge. So it's useful in a pinch, in the middle of a boss fight if you don't have the time to charge. I try not to use them too much, but sometimes I do use them. Map is a map. Fortunately, the map is not great. It doesn't really show elevation or anything like that, so it's a bit difficult to read when you have to figure out how to get from point A to point B when you have to enter from a specific side of a room in order to get there. And now the weapon. That's probably one of my favorite parts of the game, because the gun just looks nice. Right now we have the sole lens, a single battery, and no grenade. We will get grenade, I think, after this dungeon. As for the frame, right now we have fighter. Attack N, stun E, fires shots only. This means that technically this gun cannot hurt the undead. For some reason, animals do not count as undead, and you can still kill them with it. However, Knight is your first true mode of attack. Attack E, stun E, fires shot and spread. Shots is what we were using. Spread is this. I do not particularly like this gun. I don't hate it, but it's definitely your starter weapon, and as a result, well, it suffers. For one... actually...
Mortenko.
Wait, that's a ghoul, a buck. Buck, 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 buck. This type of undead serves the immortals. Bucks are weak, but don't let them spot you. Try to avoid confrontation. Hide in the shadows or run past when you're not looking. When the buck spots you, he attacks with chloropholon, a dark substance. If you get chloropholon on you, it will start to deplete your life. Shake that stuff off as quickly as you can. You can also sterilize it with your gun, okay?
Mortenko.
Tacticool, still a boy. Make sure to call me while sunlight is striking the sensor, okay? And here is going to talk about the window thing. Carefully, there's a ray of light in the crowd there. That's a skylight, where light is shining through a hole in the ceiling. Hold the A button under the skylight to recharge the solar battery. This is known as a solar charge. Most of the undead are vulnerable to sunlight. If you can lure them under the skylight, you can damage them. Use the skylight way. So, the game kind of expects you to kill those guys. I am not. The game has a fair few little Easter eggs, and it also ranks you on your performance in the dungeon. There is also it struggles to see. So now that we are outside, this is the outside, so we can just switch.
Mortenko.
Okay, it says a rush. You go outside and your solar goal shows a level better than 0. The battery has been charged up naturally. They can perform a solar charge for a quick refill. Pretty easy, right? Slightly is up, sounds better. Out right now. changes dialogue at the end. That's sad, it's not age, naturally with charm, but naturally I can perform so. Breezy, right?
Otenko.
So it just doesn't say, oh yeah, no, that's not out. Okay. Alright, so druid chests are chests that will not respawn. Life roots is... yeah. Life roots are basically our heart fragments. We get 4 of them and we boost our maximum life gauge. You can boost it so that it goes up to where the gun gauge starts. I've never managed to find all of them. Mostly because I think in order to find all of them you have to do a side quest, which is kind of a pain in the butt to do, and I was kind of lazy to do it, at least without a guide. And that's the boss! This belongs to the Count. He's Vampire Lord, the Count of Drawn-Sucking Blood. All of the vampires have weird titles and names like this. Was a sworn enemy of your father. But do not be afraid, my young vampire hunter. That crimson scarf. Though the spirit of your father, you are not alone. Well, I'm grabbing it and I'm leaving. I don't think the bats count for enemies killed, but there's a small interaction soon after the start of the game where the less enemies you've killed, it goes differently the less enemies you've killed, so I want to get no enemies killed. Kill is not going to be out, I think. I thought the game had removed every enemy because the guy that was here just wasn't there anymore. And it seems to have removed a lot more than I expected from hard mode. As you probably noticed, the coffin just randomly starts shaking. If you're nearby when it shakes, it's going to just slap the crap out of you and throw you off. You can shine your gun on the coffin and it will calm it down faster than normal, but you can't stop it from freaking out. And I got detected, so now the guy freaked out and threw dark balls of energy, which is just the color of alarm. Unfortunately, since I've been detected, that means I can't get max range. I'm pretty sure I was supposed to stun him. Ah. Ah. The main reason why I don't like Knight is because it's not good at either shots or spreads. how they could do that. So they can also wake up the coffin. Fun fact about the coffin, if it starts waking out but you change screen, it immediately stops waking out, which is nice. Young bird. And for a sec I ran out of energy so you could see what actually happens. It just peters out and nothing really happens. Ah, damn it. Alright! Now there's a coffin in the center of the pipe driver. Good. Fire spread to start up the generator that just appeared. Equip the knight and hold the B button to fire the solar spread. The generators have been blessed by Gaia, the motherland, and the sun spirit, Sol. With the power to amplify solar energy, the pile driver is the only thing we can use to purify the immortals. I don't know why, but I love the pile driver. There's this weird techno-magical thing that you can just summon with the help of the temple. We're ready! Press A button over the shining emblem to start the pile driver. Is the sun out? So what he means by that is, I'm pretty sure if I try to start it now, it's not going to work because the sun's not out. Yep. Huh? The sun! You need sunlight to start the pile driver! Put the sensor in the sunlight! So yeah, we can't do anything without the sun. And without the mod, this is basically where you have to stop. You can't do anything unless you use the game shark codes. I've never been able to figure out how they work, so the mod's just easier. As for how much energy I will be using, for the most part, I don't intend to really go for max sunlight. I'm probably going to go to 4 or 6 max, because there's already a lot of sunlight and a lot of damage, and I should just go in because the sound is absolutely terrible. But yeah. Starting purification. Destroy the vampire with solar piles from the generator. The stronger the sunlight striking the sensor, the stronger the solar piles will be. As you can see, I'm pretty sure this is not the correct translation. I think it means solar piles. But maybe not, I don't know. I made to do that. But the vampire will resist the solar piles. Windows hit the generators with spray to boost its power. You can overcome the vampire's resistance. When the vampire's darkness goes, alright, hits 0, we win. Stop the vampire lord, you can do it, Solar Boy. Already it was going pretty quickly. But if I go to max, just so you can see. It goes super fast. And if the first purification is particularly boring because it's a tutorial and nothing actually happens, in later ones we have more than 2 generators, as you can see there's slot for that. And on top of that, the boss, which right now we have a bot, we use some of its attacks from the boss fight in order to while actually attack us and try to prevent us from the purification. Okay? And as you can see, having been found 4 times means we have rank A-. I think it can go up to rank A+. I don't think there's a rank AS. I don't remember if it does much of anything on immortal stages like this one, but on other stages it will actually have an importance. It also, depending on what score you have in terms of rank at the very end of the game, you get a different rank. I think on my solo attempt I got rank B+, which was a lot better than I was expecting. I don't really know what charge energy does in terms of rank. I think it's mainly playtime and being found that affects the rank. Got full card. Incineration of dark matter. The energy source of an immortal is complete. This eliminates all possibility of revival. Good work, Solar Boy. I can't tell you with it. I don't know your name. Jingo, is it? That's a manly name. So here you are. I can't do a vampire accent. So, here you are, Jingo, messenger of the sun. And this will be the new vampire hunter. But I'm afraid you're too late. While you've been busy playing with the coil, my wounds have healed splendidly. Count, we've been tricked. I'll teach you a thing or two. When I attack the city of the sun, San Miguel, and struck my enemy down, I had another objective. Yes, a lunar maiden, Moon Beauty. She is still alive. Do you dare go after her, Otenko? Moon Beauty? Yeah, she is your... in that case, we see there's still a chance. Okay? I sense darkness, which is enough. Let's go, Django. You have to save Moon Beauty. Do not fear, Solar Boy. We have the sun. The sun will rise tomorrow.
May the sun be with you.
May the sun be with you. The game has actually a plot, and it actually has like, lore, but it does not put its feet forward in terms of plot or lore, which is weird because actually I'm really invested in figuring everything out. Jingo, I must talk to you about something. It's about the solar gun, Gundel's sword. The solar gun takes in sunlight and its energy. If you continue using it under strong sunlight for too long, it will overheat, and then you won't be able to fire the solar gun. At the bottom right of the screen is a gun mark because of an X. That's a sign of trouble. You keep using it under strong sunlight, it will overheat. Go into the shade and let the solar gun cool down. Otherwise, the gun will no longer be overheated. Even when the overheat status has ended, the gun is still very hot. If you use it under strong sunlight, it will soon overheat again. It repeats overheating, a safety mechanism disappears the solar gun. The safety mechanism will not undo until the sun sets. Be careful. Once it overheats, you continue your adventure in the shade or take a break for a while. Do not be reckless, there is no one who wants to replace you. I'm counting on you, Solar Boy Jingo. So that feature was both to keep the solar cell alive because too much sunlight would just overheat it and damage it, as well as the cartridge's internal, and also to make sure whichever kid was under the sunlight didn't get sunstroke. It only very overheated once or twice when I was playing this game on my GPA, and I never got the full overheat lockout, except with this mod. You can overheat very easily because it's kind of hard to get at max sunlight, but in this game you can just go through the game at max sunlight, but if you do, you still have overheating. that's not removed from the game, so you do have to be careful. And now we see Undead. If you remember when we did that first dungeon, it was saying Immortal. There are two types of dungeons. Master Otenko should explain that to us. Okay, I sense darkness. Nothing big, but... Dungeon goes, this is a city of death. End of eras are interwoven here in Istrakan. The undead you defeat can slip through the time... Yeah. Another example of not right translation. Can slip through the time fabric and not the fabric of time and recover. The journey will take us through dungeons like this one. We will have to pass through many undead dungeons. Through many times and many places. Each time we enter an undead dungeon, the traps and devices will be reset, and the undead will be back. You must not lose heart, even when surrounded by danger. Understood? We need this. Alright, let's go. So... I think he'll explain it at the end of this dungeon, but this is basically the teleportation mark. There's going to be one at the start and end of each dungeon, and you use it in order to just skip the dungeon once you cleared it once. Very useful because there's no fast travel in order to... go, yeah. So... if I want to go from here, once we finished clearing the dungeons, good luck, you still have to do it. You have to enter each dungeon and teleport. You can't use any sort of... Well, there is a special item you can use in order to teleport to a very specific area of the game. But... yeah, otherwise you can't read that. So I don't think the game explained it yet, but this is quite like Metal Gear Solid, that you can press yourself against walls and just slide against them, but you can also... I'm not going to do it because I'm trying to get to this. So this is a red chest. Red chest will respawn. Blue chest will not. Hoping he would not be able to see me. So I missed the chest, but I'm not going to bother with it. Because the chest will only ever contain consumables. It's not going to contain special items. So I'm just gonna skip it. The game hasn't told me this yet, I don't think. But you can knock on walls in order to distract the enemy and get them to come see you. Whichever part of the map you've knocked at. Which means after that you can just... Coins are one of the side quests I have not done in my previous game. I don't know how many silver coins there are, and honestly, I'm trying to get them all because it's a bit of a pain, and yeah. Got Axel, so our girlfriend. Axel, if I remember correctly, he attacked D. So... think, honestly. In certain cases, it's quite useful. Most of the time, I kind of just avoid it. And I thought he was going to see me. He did not. Perfect. If I get seen only once, it shouldn't impact my rating too much. Not here, he's going to come see me. I forgot, it also brings this other guy to me. The only issue is if I'm not here, the guy that's over here is also going to come my way. And he's going to see. The learning to manipulate the game's AI is something that's kind of important in how to deal with stealth segments. Is that you found a key, Kango? Wait a second, that's a blue key. That was made by immortal hands. If you leave the dungeon, their power will weaken, the key will evaporate. Because it's in the sunlight. That blue key can only be used inside this dungeon. Remember that. Also, the game does remember where enemies were in the room when you leave it. And I think it simulates how they move and stuff. I thought I was far enough away.
Ortenko.
The blue key can probably open the blue door, stand in front of the door and press the A. Honestly, at this point, I'm just... Please. Use the triangle key. Trap.
Ortenko.
We're locked in. Chingo, take care of all the enemies, you can see. This is one of the cases where Axel Frames is actually useful. Eee! Organize it! This we do. Use this warp magic square to pass through the dungeon freely. Stand in the middle of the warp magic square and press the A button to warp. It is necessary. Now, since we finished dungeon, whenever every undead dungeon has a trap. Traps do reset when you go through the dungeon again, and you do get another chance to be graded on the dungeon. But as you see, we've got rank B. What rank B means is we got a bunch of green apples. The higher you rank, the more rewards you get. It will always be the same reward, so if I do this dungeon again, and I get, for example, A+, it's still going to be green apples, but it will be green apples, just a lot more green apples. So in terms of how much sunlight I'm going to give myself whenever I'm done with a dungeon or a boss or just traversing from one dungeon to the next, I'm going to go to full max sunlight and recharge all of my energy, just so it's fast. Otherwise I'm just going to hang around, level 2 sunlight, 4 sunlight, that kind of stuff. I think I missed the hint that tells you, yeah, no, you can knock on surfaces to make monsters come see you. And pressing the L button is what lets me look around like this. The game would be very different if you couldn't do that. Very good thing I press the button for too long because I should probably just use Spiker. I'm trying to be stealthy. So, fun fact, you can, if I wasn't trying to go for low kills, you can actually make enemy stumbles into skylights, and they will die! Because they are undead creatures weak to the power of the sun, and the skylight is literally just the sun. It's honestly a fantastic way to eliminate enemies without being detected. Because that doesn't count, they will go in it, and they will just have... The white exclamation point means, oh, I think something's here, while red exclamation point means, I've actually detected you. Now, I thought I had more space to move through. And I think with one guy I just got like 4 detects. How many boxes in the way? There you go. You could probably push it, no? Push these movable blocks, these blocks, and hold down the control pad. So we'll get something at some point that allows us to break boxes like this one. Oh yeah. Double clawed. Still need it. Thankfully, they are stupid enough not to see the giant ball of light energy flying past them. I was hoping for something else. If you're trying to max rank every single dungeon, this is definitely a game over times. Ooh, a triangle key. Jump the trap, defeat the sword. And behold, the most common mini-boss. Sword. Which actually does teaches us a few mechanics we will be using in the next boss, such as it will summon mini swords, which it will throw at us, and if we hit them back towards it, it will do a lot more damage than if we were just attacking it in the and the mini swords also damage each other. Ow. When a single enemy with stunning rank E, a single enemy seeing you, even if you just keep smashing their face in with bullets, they're just not going to care much, and yeah. Star 1 solar gun lens. So now we can talk about lens more in detail. As you can see, each lens has a little one next to them. First, solar lens, this is the most basic one. It's your jack of all trade. It's decent against everything. That lens, on the other hand, as you can see, my energy meter is grayed out, and you can't do anything with it. What it does is that it just, when sunlight hits your solar cell on the game cartridge, it slowly charges up the solar bank, right? Well, when you have this one equipped, it just charges that solar bank faster. That's all it does. It just helps you charge that a bit faster. I think you do have to be outside or in an area with some sunlight in order for it to work, but that's all it does. It's not particularly useful. However, now I'm going to talk about the little one next to it. That's your lens's level. Stronger the lens, the more you kill the lens, the stronger the level is going to. The stronger the level is, or the higher the level is, the more damage it does. And yes, you can in fact level up the star lens. It's weird, you have to do some very weird things in order for it to work, but you can do it. Mainly you have to use a lot of grenades against certain bosses. But we don't have grenades yet, so yeah. And now we get to our first branch of the game. I'm probably going to stop streaming once we reach the session. We are going to stop once we reach the next dungeon. For now, this was kind of just a first try on streaming this game, see how it goes, because I haven't streamed in a long while for a multitude of reasons. Mainly I was trying to figure out how to get myself to avatar. I ended up dumb and out. But I wanted to get back to streaming, and I wanted to see how it went streaming very early in the morning for me compared to usually relatively late in the evening. And I don't know if I like it or not, but for the next few stream, in the spirit of this game, I'm just going to be streaming early in the morning, see how it goes, see if more people show up, that kind of stuff. What was I? Right, so this is our first branch. You don't have to worry about, oh, I can't do this, the other thing. You can do them no matter what. And that's the other reason why you would like to teleport through a dungeon back and forth. It's also fairly important because some of these dungeons do have new gun frames. I think this one might have... I could have named the first one. I think it might have Swordsman.
Or Tenko.
Jingo, be careful. It's a clay golem. A solid statue made by ancient magic. You might surround the service of the immortals now. When golems can spot an enemy, they roll into a ball of attack. Don't let them catch a glimpse of you. They hear you if you so much as step into in a puzzle. Be very careful. And now we have our first different enemy type. Golems. Golems are one of the more annoying enemy types. And I think I've already messed up. Definitely have. I don't particularly like golems because they have much better detection range than most of the enemies in the game. They have very good sight lines. And once they've seen you, they move a lot faster than you, so they tend to just never lose track of you. If there are multiple golems, you can kind of trick them into hurting one another, but it's a bit tougher than you might expect. Forget all his patrolling path go. So this is one of the things why I didn't get all of the silver coins. Cavern sign of the forest. Those without breaking powder shall not pass. In the first few dungeons there's a bunch of blocks like this that you can't do anything with because you don't have the correct lens. This is the best way to deal with those guys. You can make them roll into one another. If both of them are in a ball, they will just stun one another. If one of them is in a ball and the other is not, the one in the ball will kill the other one. All of them should come here. There we go. And the enemies will drop items. Those guys are very resistant to stunning, so I'm just not going to go there. This guy is here. I do that. Yes. You can kind of avoid the puddles, but it's kind of finicky. And as you can see, we've missed a lot of the dungeon, so I'm going to backtrack and do the rest of the dungeon before going through the trap. I forgot that he did not stop. Well, poop. That's just great. I can't go through there anymore. I have successfully screwed myself. Okay, and now I can show how I'm feeling. Yay! The green apples don't give much HP. But those are probably the most plentiful eating items, so I'm just going to use them. I especially don't like them right now because I don't have a good stun gun. I don't think... Yeah, no, it does stun them. Hold on, okay, I thought it didn't. I'm not sure why I thought it didn't. Trap. Then the trap defeat all golems. So if you're in a trap which requires you to kill everyone, being detected does not count, I'm pretty sure. I didn't count how many times I got detected, so... It also should not count towards the amount of death you have to avoid. B-. Oof. On the plus side, since now I finished the dungeon, I don't care about being detected. Those few round suckers. That's another one of those things, if you get... in order to get access to it, you have to figure a way to destroy that stuff. Tu gagnes mon gars. Spare cela, girlfriend. Why? Blast a powerful shot. This is why I said I wanted to explore. We've just found one of the best type of solar frame in the entire game. Welcome! Do I have a shotgun now? It is a lot of damage in a single burst, doesn't use a ton of energy, and it's the best stunning things we have for a long time at stunning B, attack B as well. It's a bit high risk, high reward because you have to get pretty close to the enemies in order to actually stun them. But if you can manage to get behind them, they will be stunned for a long time. The way stun works, I'm pretty sure, is the higher it is, the longer they stay stunned and the easier it is to stun people. And since it does a lot of damage, it also removes half of their health, which will be nice later on when I'm not trying to not kill everyone, but for now, yeah. So what I'm curious on is if I knock here, will one of them go this way and smash into it? Okay, no, they don't. I was kind of hoping. So yeah, the only place I didn't go to that I had access to had the main frame that I like, which, yeah, that's how this game tends to go. There's a very specific reason why the spear frame is my favorite. Framed, not because of the spear in itself, but because of the type that it is. Frame types, there's 4 of them. There's the knight type, which is spread plus shot, the swordman, which is spread onwards, the spin to win, which is spinning, and the spear, which is, well, shooting things. Blasting things like a shotgun. So welcome to the catacombs. It is closed, which means we're on the wrong side of it. You can't do dungeon with us. So even though there is a symbol here, we can't do the dungeon. Which is kind of annoying. Then that means you have to find a dungeon that you've already cleared in order to be able to use the teleporter, go through the teleporter, go back out, and then go through the correct entrance. The catacombs should actually... Yeah. We haven't cleared the trap, so... Oh, well, we haven't gone through the dungeon in one go, because for now, the traps is just going to be at the end of the dungeons. But as time goes on, some traps are just off to the side, and you can still traverse through the dungeon in order to clear it. You don't have to clear the trap through it. And I think it still unlocks the teleporter. But since we have done neither of those, the teleporter, even though we've been on the and at the end of the dungeon, it's still not unlocked.
Ortenko!
Shh! Django! Keep the noise down! As our mummies, undead servants of the immortals! Mummies cannot see, but they have excellent hearing. If they hear footsteps, they'll find you immediately. They can against the wall and proceed quietly and carefully. Put on the control pad in the direction of the wall to flatten against it, and move along the wall with the control pad down to stay flattened. You might have noticed that when you walk around, there's a little steppy sound. That's actually part of the gameplay. The For some reason they're asleep, so they're not doing anything, can just run around. I'll just stay first. And they just don't hear me, that's... This game has a lot of little secrets and Easter eggs. Most of them I don't know, and I did not know you could just make this dungeon the easiest in the world by doing it early enough in the morning, I guess. And of course I found a way to mess it up. So, this green arrow here means it's a place with one of those. Green arrows generally means it's a safe haven. And behold! There's a reason why I never did finish the silver coins. There are going to be many the other reasons why. Some chests are invisible. We have not unlocked the solar nut to be able to see invisible things, and it doesn't last very long. There is a soul grenade that lets you see invisible things, and it doesn't last very long either. Those are like really hard because the big mania Istrakan frame. And that's the main reason I keep forgetting. Another other reason why I came here. Big mania attack east and E charm enemies with music. This is a pure shot gun, and it's useful in that it will allow you to... Right now we can only do a knock when you're right next to something, which does limit us somewhat in stealthing. When we use it, if the enemies were actually awake, I could show you how it works better, but right now I can't really do it. It's the equivalent of knocking, but on whichever surface the shot hits. And this specific place just has bomb foiled on us. You can kick bombs around, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's kind of finicky. So that's 2 discoveries, I think. Honestly, this hasn't made the game much easier because, as you've been able to see in the previous room, some of the mummies just want to sleep in very inconvenient places. Trap. Don't trap defeat all mummies. Okay, so right now they are actually... should be actually able to show us a bit mania. Maybe. Right now they're all coming here because they heard the gun sound, the footsteps. So yeah, the blue exclamation point means that they're detecting you, but it doesn't count. to the spear. So I've been trying to funnel them through those stamping plates because normally they can activate them. I guess so, not in this room, but in other parts of the game. A puzzle or two is just figure a way to make that enemy step on the plate and activate it. I also wanted them to step on the plates for a variety of reasons. The main one being that they are quite weak to explosion and stuff like that. You're not biting. Explosions and fire attacks. Explosions and fire attacks will set them on fire, which will make them completely panic and run all over the place, which will then set other enemies on fire, and it's generally just a very funny chain reaction. But since they were inactivating the plates for some reason, well, I couldn't show. And we are now pretty much at the end of the stream. This must be an Immortal's Dark Scene. You must defeat the Immortal who controls it to continue onwards. Ow. Ow. It doesn't do anything. And like you said, Tyro. Immortal. Our second Immortal dungeon, the Broad Rust Mansion. And I've been playing for an hour and a half, so I'm going to stop here for now. And I'm going to leave, save. And we will start from here. Hopefully this gave you a decent idea of what the game is about, and you'll be willing to put up with me being kind of bad at the game for the rest of the adventure. And I'll see you... I don't know, I don't think I'm going to stream again this week. So probably on Monday or Tuesday. So, yeah. Thank you for coming to the stream, man.